Good day and welcome. My name is Diana Pinapanaw, student from De La Salle University, Dasmariñas. Today, we have a very special guest and we will interview her regarding the instructional materials that they use in teaching physical education and how it affects the students' learning. Our guest is a teacher from De La Salle University, Dasmariñas, teaching music, art, health, and physical education for years. Let us all welcome our special guest, Miss Shona Matlangsakay Manalo.
Good afternoon po. Well, during the time that there was the pre-pandemic period, PE teachers or what I used to use for my instructional materials was lectures, handout. Sometimes it depends upon the subject. So if the subject are the gen ed subjects, or sometimes they call this is service PE subject. So I was handling PE1, it's about fitness, sports or team sports. So during that time, our IMs was really more on handout videos, concentrate mainly on the lectures. But during this pandemic time, line period, wherein we were really caught, especially as PE subject, wherein we are used to doing our lectures using those materials. So what we did is we redesigned our techniques in order to be more effective on our delivery. So aside from reading materials, aside from videos, especially YouTubes, um, and also we have to follow what is written in our IRR. So we have to focus on what are the different sites, what are the different resources that we can use to do. We really should only focus on the PowerPoint materials. So there are other Office 365 resources that we need to study. At the same time, we need to somehow use in our delivering our lectures. So it's about the subject. So there are other subjects wherein we use visualization, role playing. We do sometimes incorporate educational games if the students are capable of participating, or if they have materials that they can use in our educational games. We also ask our students to also use blogs. We also try to invite resource speaker or guest speaker who are really an expert in this field. In this period, we need to be really creative in our delivering of our lecture. So there are so many IMs that we are using right now. And these IMs really depends upon what or how the students will be learning from us. So we somehow also gauge as to what are the effective ways in delivering the lectures. We can say that PE teachers are very creative in delivering the lectures, especially using different IMs.
I agree with that, ma'am, especially during this pandemic period wherein all teachers, particularly in physical education subjects, needs to focus more on the execution of the students because that is the way we can learn that they know and they really put the lesson and they understand it by just executing.
And may I add also that from the report of other of our faculty members, the pros and cons, no, sometimes other faculties will tell us, why is it that we are into IMs? Why is it that we are being forced? We are asked to use different resources in delivering lectures, but can they not understand that in delivering PE subjects, we are more into the output, the skills that the students really needs to learn. We don't really need to use the Office 365 like this way, the Yammer, the Flipgrid. What we want is for us to be an example, let us use ourselves, let us use our skills as the I am. The physical aspect of the teachers is the one who is important in delivering the lectures. So you will see from the traditional ways, the new ways. So what I did is let us test first, let us evaluate the students' way of learning, and then let us apply what is the best way for them to learn. Let us see how the students learn and let us use that as our instructional materials.
I agree with that, ma'am. It depends on the learning capability of each student.
Now, let us on the positive side. Using instructional materials will really help the students to make learning easier, provide more knowledge, more ideas about the topic. Let us also say that when you use instructional materials, the students will make a lively conversation. They will really participate on the discussion, especially if you are so creative in your presenting the topic. Interaction is much easier when you have instructional materials, different instructional materials that catch the attention of the students. Facilitating the learning is much easier. But sometimes, on the other side, um, if you are using instructional materials that are somehow, it can be a distraction in the learning, especially if you are into using the ML there, the character there. So sometimes the focus of attention is on the I am, on the character of the I am. So sometimes the student will lose the concentration on the topic. How it is a distraction. So it can be a challenge for the faculty as to how long will you will be using this material so that focus of attention will still be on the topic. If you are into the new trends, somehow what you should do is to really uh, gauge how long the use of that I am. Now, for us PE teachers, especially teaching sports, if you did not somehow reinvent the way you're going to be delivering the topic and still you focus what, for example, swimming, there are other cases or schools that they did not try to reinvent the swimming class. They still proceed with teaching swimming. How can you teach swimming without facilities? So somehow lacking the proper equipment, lacking the proper facilities can have a negative effect on the students. If ever that will be the case, again, teachers should be creative in delivering the lecture. So if you don't have the necessary equipment, you try to be resourceful enough so that the student can still follow the topic or the skills that they need to learn.
I also agree with that, ma'am, because each student do not have the materials that others, especially to the people that leave their things in their houses. And also, I agree that in teaching sports, we must focus on the outcome and not just on the material that we will use.
What I can share with you is that don't stick with one material. Don't stick with one type of delivering your teaching. What I would like to suggest or give as advice is that when you deliver your lesson, always be creative. Creative in a sense that have to know first who are your students, how they learn, because in teaching PE, we expose our students into a variety of learning methods. We don't just teach, we are also learning from our students. I somehow use the multi-sensory strategy wherein I think of ways how to present the lesson while keeping in mind how my students learn in the easiest way.
I will surely take down notes about that, ma'am, so that I can apply it in my future way of teaching as well. Thank you, ma'am, for lending your time, and thank you for the informations and knowledge